everyone, welcome to Assembly. As you can see, I'm really not dressed for school. This is more of my lockdown look. I've been spending lots of time tidying up and sorting out. It sounds quite boring, but actually, I've enjoyed it. I found so many things that I thought I'd lost. I suppose you could say I'm a bit of a loser. Do you know there was one time that I tidied the school iPad away and I couldn't find it for almost 3 years? That's a true story. Anyhow, back to this clearing out. I found some tiny welly bits that used to belong to my boys. And now, look at the size of their feet. It made me think, this time passes so quickly. This time we have at home has never happened to us before, and we won't get this time back again. So let's not waste it. Let's make the most of every moment and use this time to find something to do that makes us happy. For me, that's back to sorting out. You'd better go before I clean you up, or worse still, I might lose you. Bye for now. Stay safe.
I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got peace, love, and joy like a river. I've got peace, love, and joy like a river. I've got peace, love, and joy like a river in my soul. I've got peace, love, and joy like a river. I've got peace, love, and joy like a river. I've got peace, love, and joy like a river in my soul. I've got peace, love, and joy like an ocean. I've got peace, love, and joy like an ocean. I've got peace, love, and joy like an ocean in my soul. I've got peace, love, and joy like an ocean. I've got peace, love, and joy like an ocean. I've got peace, love, and joy like an ocean in my soul. I've got peace, love, joy like a fountain. I've got peace, love, and joy like a fountain. I've got peace, love, and joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got peace, love, and joy like a fountain. I've got peace, love, and joy like a fountain. I've got peace, love, and joy like a fountain in my soul.
Joshua chapter 1 verse 9.
Be strong
And courageous!
Do not be afraid,
Do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God
is with you. Wherever you go.
Hello everybody, my name is Natalie and I am thrilled to be joining you today for your online assembly. We're going to talk a little bit about courage today. I wonder, do you know what that means? What does it mean to have courage? Why don't you pause the video for a second and talk about that with your family, and we'll come back and do some other things in a little minute. Superheroes, now they're pretty brave. I know some people who are really brave, like a firefighter who runs into a burning building to save someone, or maybe a police officer who chases a hardened criminal. But I don't feel brave like those kind of people. Sometimes I'm a bit afraid. Have you ever been afraid? I really don't like snakes. I hate snakes. I don't mind looking at them in a tank, but I don't want to touch one, and I certainly don't want to hold one. I am pretty scared of them. Maybe you're scared of the dark, or maybe you're scared of being on your own, or maybe you're a little bit frightened about moving school soon. I don't know what it is you might be frightened of, but that verse tells us that we can have courage. We don't need to be afraid because God is with us wherever we go. I want to share a story with you from the Bible. It's from Judges chapter 6, and it's about a man named Gideon. Now, Gideon lived in Israel. He was part of the people of Israel, the children of God. And at that time, the Midianites came in and they used to just wreck the land. They used to steal their cows, they used to steal their goats, they used to steal their sheep, they used to destroy their crops. They just used to wreck the place. And the Israelites were terrified. They hid in caves and everything. And they were all starving because there wasn't enough food to eat. And they cried out to God for help. And God heard them crying out, and his answer to their problem was this man called Gideon. Now, Gideon, whenever he sent the angel to find him, was hiding in a winepress, thrashing wheat. Now, you don't thrash wheat in a winepress. That's not where you do it. But he was in the winepress because it was in a hole in the ground, and it meant that he could hide. And he was hoping and he was praying that the Midianites weren't going to come and find him thrashing his wheat and steal his food. He was scared of the Midianites. Now, Gideon, when this angel showed up, he said something really unusual to Gideon. He turned up and he said, "Mighty hero, the Lord is with you." He called him a mighty hero. This was Gideon, who was hiding in the winepress because he was scared of the Midianites. And he said, "Go in strength and rescue Israel from the Midianites. I am sending you." Now, I'm sure Gideon was confused. I imagine he was looking over his shoulder, thinking that that angel was talking to somebody else. He didn't feel like a hero. He didn't feel brave. He didn't feel courageous. And when he realised he was talking to him, he kind of replied, Are you talking to me? My clan is the weakest, and I'm the weakest person in my clan. I'm the least of the least. But God told him, "Go, I will be with you, and you will destroy the Midianites as though they're only one man." Now, Gideon wasn't sure. He set a few tests for God because he was convinced that God had got the wrong person. It must be mistaken identity, because he could think of a few people who were bigger and stronger than him that would do a better job at fighting the Midianites. But God seen something in Gideon that Gideon couldn't see in himself. Now, some of you might look at yourself and think, "I'm not the biggest, I'm not the strongest, I'm not the smartest, I'm not the best at this, or I'm not the best at that." I don't know what you see in yourself, but most people I know don't see in themselves what God sees in them. And I want to just illustrate that to you with an illustration. So, what if I told you that I could fit my body through this sheet of A4 paper? Would you believe me? Would you think it was possible? I reckon some of you are having a hard time believing that I could do that I could fit all of those people through that tiny little hole. But I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to make some cuts in this piece of paper. And whilst I do, we're just going to talk about a few things. So, there are a few different ways that we can be seen. There's how we see ourselves. When you look in the mirror, what is it that you see? There's also like other people. How do they see us? They might see us in different ways. Our parents, they'll see us one way. Our teachers, maybe they see us another way again. And then we have our friends. They most definitely think differently about us than our parents or our teachers probably do. People judge you in lots of different ways, don't they? Some people judge you by how fast you can run. Some people might judge you by how high you can jump. Or maybe someone will judge you by how smart you are, or where you live, or what school you go to. Or maybe when you're older, maybe someone might judge you by what kind of job you do. People judge us in lots of different ways, but I want you to know something. That nobody sees you like God sees you. Nobody sees you like God sees you. There's a verse in 1 Samuel 16, verse 7, and it says this: that man, that's you and me, looks at the outward appearance, how we appear on the outside, but God He looks at our heart. He looks at us on the inside. You know, Gideon, he kind of looked at himself, you know, the way other people seen him. He didn't think he was that big or that strong or that important, really. But it didn't matter how Gideon seen himself, because what mattered was God and how God seen him. And when the same's true with us, it doesn't matter how we see ourselves or how other people see us. It's how God sees us that's important. Now, have a look at my sheet of paper. Now, some of you had a hard time believing that I was going to fit myself through this piece of paper, didn't you? You thought that I was not going to fit through. But that's because you didn't see the same thing that I seen. You didn't see the same potential that I seen in this piece of paper. And look, there's loads of room. I could fit you all through it as well. Someone told me you could fit like 50 people through here. I'd love to see that. Some of us, when we look at our lives, well, we think like Gideon. There's no way God's going to be able to do that. But it was not about Gideon's strength. It wasn't about Gideon's leadership. It was about his heart. It was about his heart being willing to trust God. God's not looking at your ability today. He's not looking at my ability today. He's looking beyond that. He's looking at our heart. And I wonder, when he looks at your heart, what is it that he sees? Is it a heart that loves him? Is it a heart that belongs to him? Is it a heart that wants to follow after him? Because if it is, he promises that we can be brave, that we can be courageous, because he will be with us wherever we go.
Hello, boys and girls. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for that fantastic art for the competition. Look out tomorrow on the update, because the class winners will all be listed. Talking about art, didn't you do a great job with the stones you've left at the school? There's some great drawings and wonderful words. If anyone else has any more painted rocks, just leave them at the school gate or along the white wall anytime between 8:30 and 4. I'm up in the computer suite here, just checking all the computers are working. We're really hoping to get back to school straight after the summer. Well, I've one more challenge for you for next week. What I want you to do is think of some way you could be helpful at home. Maybe it's helping to weed the garden, or tidy your room, or maybe help in the kitchen, setting the table or clearing the dishes. You come up with something, put it up on a post on Dojo. I'd be really impressed. Do your best. Bye.